Hey everybody, welcome to the Black Diamond Call for Monday, September 11th, 2017. This is John Lavenia back. I am back here at my home office in Utah. Excited to be back. Of course, last week was doing some traveling in South America, and we did suspend the Black Diamond Call last week. I know you all missed me. You were all very teary-eyed. And, we want our weekly fix of John and friends. And tonight we're going to have a fun conversation. We're going to be talking about some very actionable stuff tonight, things you can act on immediately. You could start developing some really cool habits of productivity. Before we get into our topic, though, I want to mention a couple of things. Number one is a reminder that we are just days away from the early bird pricing ending for our Marketing Mastery event. So we are just over a month out from Marketing Mastery. Wow, I've been announcing this for a month, and we got a month to go. So I'll be announcing Marketing Mastery 30 more times, at least, before we actually get there. But it's an exciting event, and I know so many of you already have your tickets, and so many of you who are brand new here may not have even heard about what this is. So definitely find out about what this is. Go to digitalaltitude.co/MME, digitalaltitude.co/MME, and you can participate with the early bird pricing, which is rock bottom, below cost pricing. It's a gift. This is a gift that Michael gives us a couple times a year. In fact, if you're a new Rise member, you also are going to get that $97, which is the cost of the ticket until Thursday. It's going to at least double. But you can get that reimbursed when you show up at the event at Las Vegas. So there you go. Not just almost free, actually free. So grab your early bird tickets now, $97, and be there. And I will be there as well. You know what? Interestingly, some people have asked me, John, are you going to be in Vegas? I'm like, yeah. You know, I run the entire training call series, and I'm the MC and co-host of every event that Digital Altitude does. So certainly I will be there. And even if I wasn't doing all things, I would be there, because that's one of the things that we have the pleasure of doing here inside our businesses is not just staring at a computer screen all day, but actually getting together live and in person with some of our favorite people. So I do see in the chat roll here, Chris says he's got his flight ready. That's good. That's very good. And of course, some people will just be driving or taking a Greyhound or however you get there, people who are near the Las Vegas area. It's a very easy place to get into. Anyway, I'm not going to belabor that point. You've got the point. Get yourself a ticket. Get a couple of tickets. Bring a friend. Bring a spouse. Definitely bring a spouse. Do that. Yeah, that's a really good move, especially if people are wondering what you've gotten yourself into, and they may appear a little antagonistic towards this whole harebrained scheme that you got going on here. Bring them. Bring them. There's the best antidote right there. All right, and I think that's my only announcement for right now. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Black Diamond topic for this week, and just our usual disclaimers for all of our new members. This call is a bit different in the way that we typically run longer. We pretty much talk for however long we want to talk, and we cover topics that are of interest to people who are looking to get to the top, because we've gotten to the top, hence the title Black Diamond. So these are ideas that I'm going to ask you to take and see how you can actually use in your business. This is not just for entertainment value, as much as I like to believe I'm entertaining. This is about you actually getting a result, okay? And if I can hasten your experience of becoming a top earner, that is what I'm here to do. That's why this call exists, and that's why I've been hosting it in one form or another for about 14 years. Yes, this call has evolved over 14 years, Monday nights, and here we are. So take what you like and leave the rest. Think of it like a buffet. And as always, if I say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. That's just how we roll. So tonight I want to talk about something that I think is profound, although so simple that people often overlook it. You know, this morning we had Cassandra Serrano out on the wake-up call, as she is on Monday mornings. And she's full of energy. She does her exercise. She does her stuff. She talks really fast, just like me. And she's going 100 miles an hour. And people love to be around her because she is in action. Of course, this morning she was talking about, you know, griping while on some pleasure hike with her boyfriend. So, you know, that may not have been the most pleasurable time to be around Cassandra. But it sounds like she got over it, lived to talk about it. And one of the things that she talked about, a few of the things, but she was talking about taking action in terms of like being a coach to yourself, your inner coach, she called it. She also talked about the value of physical exercise, physical action, okay, putting your body in motion and getting some benefits, some psychological benefits from that. And I can attest to that. And I was thinking about the conversation we had this morning with her, which hopefully you all tuned into. If not, check it out on our podcast. And I was thinking about, how many people actually do or have a plan to do stuff like what she's talking about. And that doesn't necessarily mean going on a hike up a mountain or something, although you certainly could, right? I like doing that stuff from time to time. But it definitely does mean that you have to have a plan to do it. There's the old saying, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? So if you found value in the ideas that were shared this morning, it would be probably a pretty good idea for you to find ways to put them into use. And that's what I want to talk with you about here today. Again, it may sound simple, but you know what, my friends, as easy as it is to do the right thing, it's even easier to not do it. Think about that, right? If success was easy, it would be mediocrity, right? No one would aspire for it. It would just be like, yeah, I showed up, whatever. That's it. But no, success isn't easy. And I can tell you that a lot of times, and I see this with people who are attempting something new, a lot of times people think that they've got to do some Herculean effort, some amazing feat to get the results that they want. And I can tell you clearly, that is not the answer. That is not the answer. Let's say, for example, somebody who wants to lose weight, right, which is a common topic here in the United States and other countries as well. So you've got somebody who's overweight. They've been overweight for years. They've been on diets. They have failed. They have regained the weight. And now they are going to make a triumphant effort and once and for all get their body in shape. So they show up at the gym and they buy a membership. This typically happens in January, by the way. So they show up at the gym. They buy a gym membership and they go to the gym. They really give it their all. That day, yes, that day, they sure did it. Man, their body hurts, muscles ache, oh, they're sweating. And maybe they go back tomorrow. But you know what happened the next day? Life happened the next day. That's right, life happened. And as perfect as their first two workouts were, and as determined as they were to make this triumphant entrance into the world of physical fitness, their already existing patterns of operation kick in. Because there's always going to be something more urgent than you reaching your goals. Okay, right now we're just talking about something very objective that we can look and we can touch and say, look, this is a body, this is a place called a gym or a physical fitness facility. And so these are things that we can objectively look at. Okay, you don't need your imagination to do this. Okay, so but think about that. So here's a person who's got an idea. They're inspired by an idea. And they act on that idea, and they think they've got to do it really good. You could see how this also could relate to you getting a business going, right? Or publishing a book, or starting your YouTube channel, or whatever, right? It's got to be great. Because after all, I've seen other stuff, and it's great, and now mine's got to be great. So I've got to do it perfect. I've got to do it right. I've got to be the best. Okay. So there's a big mental load that we're walking around with. And what happens? Well, habits happen. Habits kick in. And they may be habits of ineffectiveness. And they'll be there. They'll be there. I promise you, there will always be something more urgent than you reaching your goals. Not necessarily more important. That's a totally different topic, right? Urgency and importance are two different words, right? Both words are in the dictionary, which means they're two different things. And I know some words mean the same thing. These two words don't. Okay? Urgency and importance mean two different things. So we've got to be able to evaluate the relative importance of what we're deciding to do based on our goals. Okay, now back to our friend who's in the gym for 2 days and then has day number 3 as excuse day. And you know what? It felt good. It was comfortable to have that excuse. We didn't have to go get our muscles uncomfortable that day. You know what? Tomorrow they may show up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Usually by February the gym's empty again. I can get a parking spot, no problem. But the thing is here that it's not about this Herculean effort. It's not about heroics. It's not about doing things perfectly. What it is about is consistency. What it is about is having a daily method of operation. A daily method of operation. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the three words I just said. Daily. Okay, so that means every day. So that's daily, right? We understand that. Method. Okay, so that's the way something is done, right? This is the self-determined way in which one does something. Okay, so that's method. And then operation. Operation, we could infer, means that there's some action being taken. There's some effort. There's some doingness. It's not just a theory. It is something that is we can observe. We could say, this work has been done, and done it is. It was an operation. So we are having a daily method of operation, and from that we have these heroic results. But it's not because of the heroic efforts per se. It's because we just did seemingly ordinary things in an extraordinarily consistent fashion, and deliberately, based on our own self-determination. And because we've done these things daily, they have formed habits, which means now these are the things that impinge on our life without us even thinking about it. You see this? You see this? So where the example I gave you before of the person who was derailed by habit and by life happening to them, when we are in the habit of doing resourceful things, those resourceful activities impinge on other things that we could be choosing in our life. So if you wanted to take on something else, let's say that you're in the daily habit of running your business and going to the gym and doing whatever you want to do. We're going to talk a bit more about like what my daily method of operation looks like. Okay, so I'm going to give you some real meat here that you can take and adapt to your own liking. But let's say that you've got this daily method of operation and you're doing great. You're killing it in business, your fitness, your relationships. You got success in every area of life that you want. Okay, and you decide to take up a hobby or some additional business or something. Oh, okay, that's fine, but that's not habitual. And so you'll find that the things that are habitual, the things that you've been doing daily, which in this case very happily are resourceful, right? Those things will impinge on these new activities that you've chosen for yourself. And then the question is going to be, how do you manage that? How do you either work that into your daily method of operation or get honest with yourself and say, you know what, this is something I'm doing on a whim and it's not really that important to me. It may seem urgent to me at the moment. I may be infatuated with the idea of doing this. Like, I'll give you an idea. I got guitars in my office, right? I used to be in a band, and I didn't play guitar in the band. I'm not that good, but I had some music experience, and I was thinking, I'd like to take up the guitar. And right now, there they sit. I do dust them off from time to time, and I pick one up, here and there. But I suck. I mean, I'm not going to go be in a band with my level of skill. And you know what? If it was that important to me, then I would make it in my daily method of operation. Now it's time for guitar practice. But I can tell you what, even if I did that and I practiced like 3-4 hours a day, I could be broke like most musicians, right? So that would be the end phenomenon of me getting really good at the guitar. Now, certainly there's, personal gratification. That's all very nice. But again, that's a hobby. That's a hobby for me. I'm not going to make a living playing guitar. Some people do. Some people do. But there are very few, Eric Clapton, kind of guitarists, or, name your favorite, Eddie Van Halen or something. Very few people make it in the music business. This is a bit more predictable, this whole sales and marketing thing, So I'm going to stick with that. But Don is saying, I think you should play us a jam, John. Actually, Don, my genre is extreme metal, so I don't know that everyone would dig on that. But anyway, so there's something that some people didn't know about me. Yes, I am a dyed-in-the-wool metalhead, like since forever, but still waiting to grow out of it. In fact, I was told that, you know, it's a phase, you'll grow out of it, and I'm 47 and I still haven't grown out of it. But anyway, and I like jazz and classical too. That's all great. But my goodness, metal is in my blood. Anyway, back to the idea. Daily method of operation. And we will open this up for Q&A and commentary towards the end. So everybody who's here live, stick around. So the daily method of operation is something that we have deliberately chosen for ourselves based on things that we have evaluated as more important than other things. So for example, I mentioned today on the wake-up call, as soon as we were done, I'm heading to the gym. That is something that I do without thinking about it. And there are times when I do think about it. It's like, oh, you know, I don't feel like going to the gym today. Yes, even me, I don't feel like going to the gym, right? Getting all in pain, you know, lifting heavy weights and stuff like this. But, you know, I mean, I got this time scheduled to go to the gym. And let's see, there's nothing, I don't think, that's more important than my health. I mean, it's right up there with, you know, other important things in my life. And I got this time slated for it. And you know what? I don't want to go to the gym, though. I don't want to go to the gym. So guess what I did? I got in my car and I went to the gym. That's what happened. While talking about not wanting to go to the gym, my body went to the gym. And as soon as I touched the weights, I was in. I could bitch and gripe all the way up to that point. But as soon as hands touch iron, there's no more complaining. I'm already in. I'm already there. What I'm going to do, leave? That's it. That's it. Now, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to deliberate with myself about it because I've developed a habit. It's part of my daily method of operation. People say, well, how many days a week do you go to the gym? Well, every day that I eat and every day that I sleep. If I miss meals and sleep, then I may not be fit for the gym. Okay, that's valid. That's valid. You don't want to do that too often. You know, you starve to death and, you know, you'll crash your car because you got no sleep. So, okay, so let's eat and sleep every day. And let's also use the body every day. I mean, after all, we're feeding it and resting it. Let's do something with it, right? Just for a half hour a day. Again, no heroics. No heroics here. We're just talking about consistency. And you did this enough, and even if you're not heroic, you're going to get some great results. Okay, there are people, like anybody know TJ Fannin? I'm sure you'll see him at the Las Vegas event. Him and a couple others. I mean, TJ, shout out to you, TJ. He was on the Black Diamond call a couple months back. We'll have to get him out here again. But this guy is like Hercules, man. He's like King Kong. Amazing, right? I thought I was muscular. This guy is a beast, right? And we got a few others as well. But TJ just came up for me as I was thinking about the gym. So this is something we can do, okay, if that's important to you. Right? If your health is important to you, you can exercise your body. And if it's not, you can neglect the body. I'm not here to tell you, you know, this is what I think you should do. I'm just telling you what I do. Okay? So back to our daily method of operation. There is one thing that you can do based on your evaluation of whether or not that's important in your life. What else can you do? Well, certainly we're here to work our businesses, right? There's many things that we have to do throughout the day. Many of you are parents, right? Many of you have, if you're still working a job, you've got those considerations, right? That eats up some time. You've got, maybe you've got multiple businesses that you're running already. Maybe you run a franchise. Maybe you've got other things that you've committed to. And I appreciate, look, I'm a man of my word. I go ahead and I make an obligation. I keep that obligation. And if you're like right now in a contract where you're dealing with clients or an employee or something, and you've got to fulfill your contracts, that's all part of it. That all has to be taken into consideration. Do you renew the contract? I don't know. It's up to you. How important is that to you? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to evaluate the relative importance of every activity that you could choose to spend your hours on. Here are 24. And you're going to get another 24 tomorrow, assuming you're still on the planet and you haven't left the body. Okay, so that's fine. Let's assume that we're going to have another 24 tomorrow. And we're going to make a plan right now of what we're going to do tomorrow, and then the tomorrow that comes after that, and then the tomorrow that comes after that. And there can be some variables, like, you know what, on Sunday we do family day, and I don't take client calls on Sunday. Okay, cool, right? And people have religious considerations, and we do the church at this day, and that's all great. But that all goes on the calendar. That's all part of a daily method of operation. So I'm not saying that we are robotic and that we don't not able to vary or have any sort of spontaneity in our lives. That's not what I'm talking about. We can actually have time, and I'm going to show you how I do this throughout the day. We can actually have time for things that are spontaneous or diversions, things like that. So here's what a day looks like for me. This is actuality. This is for real. This is what a day really looks like. Now, Monday, which is today, is a bit extreme. Okay, this is a bit of an extreme day, but still, I had time to do some stuff that I wanted to do that was not based on anything that was high necessity. Okay, because I do believe that even with all the stuff we got going on as entrepreneurs, it's not about sitting around and being bored or miserable or frantic or in a constant emergency crisis management situation. No, we've got to have some balance too, like we were talking about this morning. We've got to be able to do things that take a break from the the thinkingness of it all, right? I mean, we're in marketing. We got a lot to think about here, right? I mean, just go look at your email inbox and see how many offers are in there today, how many sales pitches, right? This is all market research, right? Every time you see a piece of junk mail, that's like somebody took time or maybe paid money to write that, paid a copyright. I mean, there's so much that we can think about and learn from all through the day, and hopefully you are learning all through your day. But is there not something you can do that is going to give you a bit of a reprieve? It is. It is. And it could still be a profitable thing, but it doesn't have to be, right? So I'm going to get to that. Here's what my day looks like. I get up. Yes, I wake up like everyone else, and I have a little bit of quiet time. Just a little bit of quiet time, get my breath, right? I may or may not do any deep breathing like our friend Eli does on Thursday mornings, but for me, yeah, and you can call this whatever you like, right? Some people meditate, some people pray. I just get quiet, no talking, just observe, and just get into the present time. Here's the present time. Here's what we're doing right now, as in right now, not 30 seconds from now, right now, okay? And so now that I'm here now I take a look at my calendar, and I notice that I have new members who just got started. This is here in my digital altitude duties that I have here as a senior coach or a scale-up coach or whatever they call me. So here's a new member who just got their RISE program, who's now going to be introduced to me, and I'm going to have a week with them, and we're going to have coaching sessions and all this. So that's on my calendar. They booked that yesterday or a couple days ago, and okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, right? And then I've got more students that I'm going to talk to with Digital Altitude who are going through their steps. And then I've got the wake-up call, right? You guys, if you were here for that, you got to see that. I had the wake-up call, and we start exactly on time, exactly on time. This is a key. This is a key. Be a person of your word. You say you're going to be somewhere, be there. Be there. I'll tell you what, my friends, this is a secret. It's actually not that secretive because anyone who can observe anything can see this. But when I was becoming successful and deciding how I wanted to occur in the marketplace, I decided to be impeccable with my word, to the best of my ability, do exactly what I say I'm going to do, exactly on time, to the best of my ability, be a man of integrity. In fact, I wrote a whole book about it eventually because I realized, oh my goodness, there's a strong suit right there, which I've completely exploited and never even thought about it. I just decided to start showing up and doing what I said I was going to do. And you know what that produced in the marketplace? That produced trust. And that produced credibility, right? Well, if John says it, then that's the way it is. Because, I mean, he's the guy who gets it done. He's the guy who's always there. He's the reliable. He's the rock. He's the rock. And you know what? A lot of times, especially when we're dealing with like team building, things that we do here in the home-based business community, where we're dealing with people, which are tremendous variables, right? People are all different backgrounds and, mental, previous conditioning and all this. It's for them to be able to have someone who is stable, in their lives who's reliable. That is huge, 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 huge. Again, so we're not talking about heroics here. Does you showing up on time sound like a heroic thing to do? Well, maybe if you've been chronically late, which, by the way, I was. So maybe I'm overcompensating a bit. But in my youth, I was always late for everything. I wrote about this in the book. It was like so disrespectful, and I didn't even consider it. You know, like people would wait for me for like a half hour. What the hell is that? What's that? Right? So I decided to be very punctual, right? So our calls start exactly on time. End times are not very specific, but they start exactly on time, unless there's some catastrophe, like last Thursday when I couldn't get on the wake-up call, and Glenn jumped in, and we had Eli there. Anyway, it all worked out. Okay, but to the best of your ability, be impeccable with your word. Okay, so this is something we could do on a daily basis. This is a habit that we can form. So we went ahead, we had our wake-up call, then I went to the gym, then I had a staff meeting with my company, with my employees, and we got some great ideas. That was about an hour and a half worth of some new marketing stuff we're looking to do. And then I was finally able to stop and eat a little bit, right? This is late morning. Of course, I failed to mention I had my protein shake and my supplements before I went to the gym, right? So the body wasn't completely starving, right? I did have my lean protein and vegetable juice, right? So now it was breakfast time. It was literally breakfast as in break fast, like a fast break. That's how I eat breakfast, especially on Mondays because I have no time for anything otherwise. And then I got into more calls with our members. And then I had a staff meeting, another staff meeting, right? And then I got into more calls with my members. And then I got to have some time with my daughter. Okay, so now we're into the afternoon. And then I got a break to do whatever I want to do. And you know what I did? It's been a while since I put any of the tire dressing on my Harley. And so I went out and dressed the sidewalls of my tires on my Harley. That's what I did this afternoon. Completely objective. Am I making a point? I've already had 2 staff meetings. I've already talked to, 15 or so students here in Digital Altitude. I'm running my company. I got my daughter. I went to the gym. Okay, and now I'm doing something that requires no thought at all. A break, a reprieve, a diversion, and something very gratifying. Oh, look at the tires. They look so nice now. And I polished up a little bit of the chrome, make sure that's all looking good. Got to have shiny chrome, right? And then what? Then it was time for dinner. My wife, who's awesome, some of you have met her, she had meatloaf. I very much like the meatloaf. And so I ate the meatloaf with my daughter and my wife, played with the dogs a little bit, and now I'm here on the Black Diamond call. And then after the Black Diamond call, which started exactly on time, I've got 5 more students I'm going to be talking to tonight. And at that point, it's going to be late night. I may end my night with a bit of reading to inspire the mind and remind myself of things that I could be doing, that hopefully I am doing, to keep sharpening my saw and keep getting the results that I'm looking to get. Now, this was a Monday, okay? Tuesdays are not that much different, except I don't have as many meetings that I need to do. So I get to do other more creative things, like some of you know I'm working on a book, my next book, and that will be out by the end of the year. And I've got some other business ideas that I have to execute. I mean, these things we talk about in like staff meetings, like with my company, well, now they need to be acted on, right? So we've got a bit of research and development and things like that we've got to do. And so these are things that take up time. But you see this? All of these things are pre-planned, except for that gap in the late afternoon, after all those client calls, my daughter, if I need to pick her up, take her anywhere, I've got this gap that I can then do whatever I want with. Okay, and we're just talking about an hour. That's it, just an hour, right? Some days I'll fill that gap with study, right? In fact, quite often I'll fill that gap with study because, I mean, this is what we do, right? Competence is a good thing. So study, learn stuff, right? And then you'll, again, be more valuable in the marketplace because you will have consistently consistently loaded your guns with good ammo. People sometimes say, John, how did you become a great speaker? How did you become a great author? How did you become a great marketer? I've been studying this stuff for 30 years. No heroics, although sometimes I think I'm a hero, but do anything for 30 years and you're going to develop some sort of competence. And if you're interested, you're automatically going to develop some sort of an aptitude for it, right? So it's not like, all right, I'm going to go force myself to learn, I don't know, throughout any topic, rocket surgery or something. And but I hate rocket surgery. I'm deliberately messing that up. I hate rocket surgery, but I'm going to force myself to study it. No, you're not. You're not going to stick with that. But if you're interested, you've got an aptitude for it. Like if I was really interested in rocketeering, then you know what? I'd probably by now, if I'd been studying that for 30 years, I'd know some stuff about it. I could be an authority. I could be an authority in rocketeering. Okay, I'm not. Okay, so there's that, and but I am an authority when it comes to, number one, showing people how to make more money in less time and less effort. I'm really, really friggin' good at that, which is why I'm in the role that I'm in. Also, in terms of personal development and business topics and philosophy, success psychology, stuff like that, I am probably the foremost authority, I'd say, in digital altitude and maybe in a lot of society. Study anything for 30 years, you're going to get good at it, right? How did this happen? It happened because I chose for it to happen, because I evaluated the relative importance of me getting my head straight, okay? Because this was out of necessity for me, that I had to put in some order in my life, and it starts with how I think. So so these are things that you can choose to do for yourself. I don't think I mentioned anything here that is like too foreign of a concept where you need a demonstration to understand what I'm talking about. These are all things that you could probably picture in your mind yourself doing. Now, you may not run your own companies. You may not have to have staff meetings and things like that. You may not be running a live conference call and webinar series like I'm doing right now. Okay. You may not be a coach. Well, okay, so look how much more time you have. What obligations do you have? And then here's the question: which ones can you eliminate, or which ones would you like to eliminate? And can you do that ethically as quickly as possible to free up that time for other things that you evaluate as being more important, right? And then can you arrange your day so that you can look at your calendar, just like I'm looking at mine right now. It's right in front of my face. You can look at your calendar, whatever kind of calendar you use. And by the way, you should use one. Use one calendar. One calendar. Okay? There's an old saying, what was it? The proverb, a man with one clock knows what time it is. A man with two clocks is never quite sure. Right? So one calendar. Okay, and everything can feed into that one calendar. I know we've got Google calendars, and I've got Schedule Once, and all that stuff shows up on my Apple calendar, on my Mac, and on my iPhone. So everywhere I go, there's my one calendar, and it's all synchronized. And that's the calendar. And if it's not on that calendar, it's not getting done, because it's very hard to impinge on my daily method of operation. Very hard. Very hard. Like I've got to be asking for it, or there's got to be some sort of an emergency or something, okay? And so here we've got order. Yes, order. This is how the world works, my friends. It's very orderly. Think about this. You've got right now, outside your door, wherever you are right now, you've got plants growing. You've got trees or cactus or wherever you happen to be. You've got nature happening out there. And it all happens by law, not by luck, not by chance, but by law. The plants grow. It's all very orderly, very orderly. I remember having a conversation with someone, and they said, you know what, I had this great result. I was so excited. I was thinking, my goodness, this is so great. I can't believe that I finally got this great result that I was looking to get. But then I stopped, and I was thinking, you know what? That's not amazing. That's not amazing. What's amazing is that I was able to screw it up for so long that now it seems amazing that I'm not screwing it up. So you see, order is the natural state. And because we have so many variables in our life, it's easy for us to become disorderly. I can tell you this, many people, many people, and I would almost say most people, but I'm not looking at stats right now, but I would say many people spend half their time just looking for stuff that they can't find. Where did I put my car keys? Where's my stuff? You know, we've got a rule in my house for my daughter. She's 6. She's almost 7. In fact, she's turning 7 while we're going to be in Vegas. Yes, her birthday's the 15th, so we're going to have a birthday cake or something for her there. But the thing is, it's a lot of times she just leaves stuff laying around at random. Now, granted, she's a 6-year-old, but I'm looking to put some order in here, right? I'm the leader, right? She's the student. Okay, so I say, Trinity, from now on, there will be no question that starts with, where is my? If the question starts with, where is my, the answer instantly and automatically is, I don't know. So there's no point. There's no point in you asking me, where is my, and then fill in the blank with whatever you lost. Keep track of your stuff. And I think this is a good habit to form in a child, and many adults could stand to develop this habit. But some people spend half their time just looking for stuff. Where did I put my stuff? Well, part of our daily method of operation is having stuff in its right place. Think about this. If you were to go into, I'm going to use a military metaphor here, or like law enforcement or any sort of like battle operation kind of a thing. But if you were going to go into battle, would you know where your stuff is? Let's say you were like a SWAT team, right? Would you know where your gun is? Would you know where your ammo is? Would you know where your helmet is? Right? It's game on. It's emergency time. Right? You're a first responder. You got to get it done. You have milliseconds to make decisions. Are you going to be, hey guys, where's the ammo again? You know what? I left my gun over there. You know what? I'm not sure. Anybody seen my gun? Hello? No. No, 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 no. You don't even have to look. You could close your eyes and know exactly where all your equipment is. Exactly. That's the way it's done. Now, again, this may sound extreme, and look, this may offend you. You may be like, hey, John, you know what? I'm a free spirit, man. Okay, go be a free spirit. I'm just telling you what works for me. And what works for me is order. And what works in life is order. We're not making excuses about it. Okay, and we're not going to make excuses for ourselves if we've been disorderly. So just like my calendar is orderly, and just like this call, and every call starts exactly on time, because I'm reliable. I'm the guy who gets it done because I said I would, right? That's how I choose to show up in the marketplace. How do you choose to show up in the marketplace? And the overarching question, in your life, how do you choose to show up in your life? Now, everyone's going to benefit from this. This isn't just, just for your customer or just for your prospect or just for your family or just for fill in the blank with whoever you're obligated to participating in life with. This is for you. This is for you as well. Do you know how much time you're going to save when you've got order in your life and when you've got things planned out and when you don't have to think so damn much about should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, right? Because you've got a habit, and the habit is a resourceful one. And you have multiple habits, right? And that's daily income producing activities. That's daily exercise. That's daily time to play with your children, whatever it is, whatever's important to you, right? But these things are not arbitrary in terms of how they're executed. They are done consistently without you having to think about it. You don't have to keep making that decision over and over again. You know that Steve Jobs, while he was alive, he wore the same jeans and black turtleneck or whatever that kind of shirt is every day, right? Every day. You see him on the, it wasn't the, he had multiple copies of the same thing. It's not like he just wore one thing and never washed it, but you get the point. He didn't have to make that decision every day because he already knew what he was going to wear every day because that's what he wears, and he's got a whole closet full of that, and that's the stuff that he wears. There's such a thing as decision fatigue, right? So how many decisions do you have to make each day before you get anything of note accomplished? Hopefully very few. Okay, now I haven't taken to, I considered it actually, but I haven't taken to just one shirt and one kind of pants and that's it, the end of the story. Okay, but you could take it to that extreme, right? So this way you don't have to think about this stuff anymore, right? Just like I don't have to think about going to the gym. Just like I don't have to think about, am I going to show up for the call? Just like I don't have to think about, am I going to show up for the staff meeting, right? These are things that are already done before they're done. They're done in my mind, and they're done because I've got a habit of effectiveness. This is a method of operation. Now, look, it may sound like, this might be a bit rigid, and, depending on where you're starting from, it may seem rigid to you. But I can tell you, my friends, it is so much better than being thrust, by every wisp of wind, to and fro. Because you don't have control of your life. It is so much better. Will you sacrifice a little free spirit, spontaneity? Yeah, I suppose. Okay, but a lot of what we do is creative anyway, right? I mean, we're doing marketing campaigns. I'm writing books. I mean, my goodness, there's plenty of creativity. You can certainly express yourself. But what my point is, you can do that more effectively and much more profitably when it's not something that you have to deliberate on for hours on end before you ever take action. So back to my original point. You've got another 24 hours that's about to be issued to you. And we're going to put the Tuesday label on it. And we're going to call it Tuesday. And what are you going to do with your Tuesday? And what are you going to do with Wednesday? In fact, what are you going to do with the next week? And if you put that on your calendar and you've got the important things laid out, and then you just repeat that every week. So I know, like on Apple Calendar, you can just say, repeat weekly, right? So I've got that staff meeting every week at that time, repeat every Monday, and end never. That's it. Now, at some point I delete it. I can delete them all. If that staff meeting gets moved or I can change it, that's fine. But it's just running perpetually forever on that calendar. It's always on my calendar. Gym, on my calendar. Every day, same time. When does it end? Never. See that? So you can actually get into weekly scheduling, right? Which most of it doesn't have to be rescheduled. It's the same week after week, unless you're traveling or something like I did last week. Okay, but even then I had to make time available to meet with students and take care of my obligations. Okay, do my duty, right? So there's that. And the thing is that you're going to get to a point where it just becomes normal. It just becomes like, this is normal stuff. This is just what I do. And you're so damn good at it because you've done it so much. You don't even have to think about it. And you have developed a very high level of competence. Now, when it comes to prioritization, we need to put some icing on this cake, okay? Because there are people who get encumbered with, well, what's the most important thing? Well, that's something for you to decide. Okay, that's something for you to decide. What are the most important actions you can take in each day? Okay. First thing I'll say is that Stephen Covey, in his classic book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I haven't read in some time. I deserve to read that again. You deserve to read it too. It's a great book. But in the 7 Habits, he talks about how we want to go ahead and plan things out. And not just a day. We're not just in like crisis management here. We're going to plan one day. No, let's plan a week. Okay, we typically do this on, let's say, a Sunday, for example. So Sunday we plan out our upcoming week. And if it's a routine week, there's not a whole lot to plan. It's not like you're going to spend your Sunday, hovering over your calendar and, wishing you were outside or something. No, we're just going to review our week, put in what needs to be put in, okay? But that's the one thing that we can do is we can plan the whole week and then just repeat that week again and again, okay, and develop those habits. The next thing is, as far as prioritization, there's a method that was introduced. This is something I heard in a seminar some years ago. There was a guy named Charles Schwab, the Charles Schwab, right? Which later, there was companies named after him, like investment companies. This guy was a heavyweight in business and investing back in the Industrial Revolution, back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. And he had a guy who come visit him at his office and said that he had a great strategy for him to follow. This guy's name was Ivy Lee. He said, Mr. Schwab, I've got this great idea and it will make you more productive in your business. Now, here's a guy who's already a multimillionaire, right? He's buddies with Andrew Carnegie, the world's first billionaire, right? So these are real heavyweights. And this guy Ivy walks in and says, here's what I want you to do. And you go ahead, you take your pen and your pad out there, and you write down all the things you need to do tomorrow. All the things you need to do tomorrow. And he said, now number them in importances from, one, start with number one, and then whatever's the most important, and then the next most important thing, and the next most important thing. And if there's 10 things on the page, then number them in degrees of importance from 1 to 10. And now what you do, okay, tomorrow when you come into your office, is you start with number one, and you don't go to number two until you finish number one. And then you do that for the rest of the numbers. That's it. And Charles Schwab said, all right, well, I'll try it out, and I will pay you whatever I think it's worth for this idea. And a couple of months went by, and came a letter to Ivy Lee from Charles Schwab saying that from a business standpoint, it was the best advice he ever got, and here's a check for $20,000. Now, that's back when $20,000 meant something. So think about that. Multitasking is a myth. Changing our focus 10,000 times per hour, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. But multitasking is a myth. We don't multitask. And I know some people pride themselves in the ability to multitask. But what's really happening is they're getting stuff done in less time, and they're avoiding the incompletes. The incompletes. This is the killer. This is the killer, guys. Listen to this. I've heard it said that the anatomy of success itself is completing what you start. If you look at every success, it's because we completed what we started. And therefore, the anatomy of failure is not completing what you start. Or not starting at all, right? Obviously, if you've got an intention, you never reach it because you never even got started. Okay? So we could say that the holy grail here, the grail is completing what you start. And if you have a bunch of incomplete actions in your life, not only are you failing in life, not only are you not getting the results you want, not only are you not affording yourself the gratification of a job well done. Like right now, if I go out and look at my Harley, it looks really nice and shiny. That's very nice. Okay, so that's done. That's a done. I got success on that. I got success on that. I completed what I started. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, but not only that, okay, but you're also stacking up. If you're not completing what you start, you are stacking up a lot of mental baggage. And then tomorrow comes around, and it's like, all right, I got all these things to do on my calendar. Oh, but I still haven't finished that other thing from yesterday. Oh, boy. How many days you want to go like that? And so you see where the overwhelm comes in? You see where people say, I have no time to do anything. Well, no, you don't have any time to do anything because you're not completing anything. You'll have more time if you complete stuff before you go on to other stuff. Then you'll have more time. But these incompletes stack up. They eat up your mental space. You're not gratified because you're not winning. You're failing. And you have no time. And you're overwhelmed. No order. Again, I say order is the way. Order. And one thing we can do to put in order is to complete what we start. And don't go on to the next thing until you've completed that most important thing. And then we're not at the mercy of urgencies. Remember I said before, urgency and importance are two different things, right? Importance, Ivy Lee said, number them in degrees of importance. That's the prioritization, not urgency. Now, obviously, you've got something on your calendar at such and such time that has to happen at that time. But that is the only thing that could take you off of the priority. And maybe you've scheduled not enough time to take care of that priority. Well, then in that case, the scheduled event becomes, it's not only urgent at that time, but it's also important because it's on your calendar. But if it's not on your calendar, it's not important, and it can't impinge on the priorities that you have set for yourself. Number one, number two, number three, etc. Does this make sense? You guys picking up what I'm laying down here? I think this is good stuff. Now, it's completely simple. Right? I don't think anybody got a brain hernia here tonight. All we're talking about is putting some order in our lives, creating a daily method of operation. That's it. That's what we're doing. It sounds too simple. John, can it be that simple? Yes, it's that simple. It's that simple. You show up at the gym every day because it's important to you. You're going to get physically fit. It's going to happen. And you don't even have to be like a fitness authority or anything. But just by habit, it's going to happen. Okay? You do your calls, your marketing, your whatever you do. In my case, I talk to lots of people and meetings and stuff like that. You do that every day. Are you going to get good at it? Oh, yeah, you're going to get good. You're going to finish what you start? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to have lots of completes. Done, done, done. Okay? My favorite four-letter word, my friends, is done. Because you know what that means? That means I got time for the next thing now. That's a victory. That's a win. That's the anatomy of success itself. Done. My favorite four-letter word. I've got other four-letter words that I enjoy also, but done is my favorite. Now you know. Mommy, he said the D word. That's right. That's right. We're going to be saying that a lot around here. Done. All right, guys. You know what? Thank you. I see a few chats in the chat roll there. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I am going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open it up for Q&A and commentary if you guys want to talk a little bit. We got a little bit of time here. Let's do that. All right, so if you are with us live, you can click your mute button or your raise your hand button or whatever it is. And if you're on a phone or Skype, you can click *6, and that is the command to unmute your line. I did see somebody just raised their hand, and they took it right back down. If you're going to raise your hand, raise your damn hand so we can have a conversation. So the line is open, and we have our first caller. Here we go, 984 area code. You are on the air. Who am I talking to?
Damien.
Hey, Damien, where are you from?
North Carolina.
All right, Damien, what's going on with you tonight?
Not much. I was just wondering, like, what is it that we would have to basically try to sell or market? Is it any particular thing, or is there anything we can do, or, I mean, basically...
Could you be more specific, Damien? I'm not getting it.
I mean, like, it's saying, like, marketing, online marketing, right?
You're asking about online marketing. Yes, online marketing is what we do in Digital Altitude. Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it anything particular we have to sell, or is it something we can choose?
Oh, Damien, it sounds like you're brand new here. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well,
yes,
welcome. Everybody welcome Damien from North Carolina. Okay, great. So, Damien, yes, and here's what you want to do. You are brand new here. You're going to be assigned a coach if you haven't been already. And this coach is going to walk you through a bunch of steps so you can learn about how we do what we do. And yes, we have products to sell. We have digital products. We have event products. And it's all very, very robust as far as a business model. So it's all done here for you. What you're going to be doing is learning how to get this stuff into the marketplace and make the lion's share of the money on it, which is very nice. Damon, I could tell you out of all the things that you could have joined, because there's a million opportunities out there, you have happened upon the cream of the crop. This is it, man. So welcome. You are in for an awesome ride. Great to hear brand new people. Congratulations, Damien. So glad you're here.
Yes.
Good stuff, man. Well, yeah, stick with your coaches, and you're going to get well informed, I promise you. You will have lots of data. Yeah, good stuff, man. Welcome once again. All right, anybody else want to come on out on the Black Diamond call? Now is the time. I don't see any other hands raised. Anybody else going once, going twice, and just me and Damien. Oh, wait. Here we go. Oh, my goodness, right at the last possible moment. Here we go. I see Valencia. Valencia, you're live on the air.
Hey, John. How are you?
I am so good. So good. Thank you.
Good. Well, I just wanted to say that was a great Black Diamond call, and I'm going to implement the strategy of writing down the top 10 priorities and then not going on to the next one until the first one is done. So I'll see how it works.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad I was able to put that icing on the cake. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. Good stuff, Valencia. Well, glad you're here, my friend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Las Vegas in a month.
Definitely, I have my ticket, so I will be there.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for jumping out here. We're going to go to our next caller, which is Llewellyn in South Africa. Hey, Llewellyn, you're live on the air.
Hi, John. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I just want to thank you for an awesome presentation. Really, that stick in my mind that from now on, I also want to put done on everything I'm doing. So it's nice to hear people of your expertise to inform us that is new in this game to do the stuff that is important first and then go on to everything else. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna practice it in my life from now on. So thank you very much for everything you are putting in to do this course for us. I really appreciate it. And I say once again, thank you very much.
Llewellyn, thank you, my friend. And I'm glad that this resonated for you. And also looking forward to seeing you in Vegas. I know you got your ticket. And so check it out, everybody. Here's Llewellyn coming from South Africa to Las Vegas, Nevada for this Marketing Mastery event. So if you are brand new and you're anywhere on planet Earth, get there, because we got no excuses. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be the biggest event that Digital Altitude has ever done. So, Llewellyn, really looking forward to it. Thanks for jumping out here, my friend.
Thank you, John. I will see you definitely in Las Vegas.
All right, see you there. And any other hands up? I don't see any other hands. So now, going once. Anybody else? Going twice. And with that, we're going to end commentary and question. All right, so I want to thank everyone who joined us here live today. I do see a bunch of people. Damien, you're getting some love in the chat roll there. I don't know if you can see the chat roll if you're on dalivecall.com right now, but I know you were dialing in with a phone. How primitive. Damien was using a phone. You can download the app. By the way, anybody who's new here, you just go ahead and click the Join Online Meeting button, and it will prompt you to download the free conference call app, and then you can experience that without even having to dial a phone number. It's really cool. We've got apps for the iPhone and the iPad and the Android as well. Just look in the Meeting Resources section of dalivecall.com. You'll find that there, as well as our podcasts. So I think we are going to wrap up with that. I do see a comment from a friend of mine here. John, enjoying a Partagas Black while listening to you. Yeah, there we go. Welcome, Gene, and welcome everyone who's brand new here. Thank you all. I will see you tomorrow morning on the wake-up call with our friend Joel Strait. And in the meantime, make it a great night. You absolutely deserve it, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye for now.